Thank you very much. I started with BNSF 5 years ago, and so we've actually implemented the PMO, and I'll walk you through the steps that we've taken to get to where we're at today. And prior to that, I was with Walmart, so I spent 22 years with Walmart, all in the information systems division and all things project management related there. So moving on, what I'll walk you through today is just who we are. You know, who are we? How did we grow the PMO? What strategy did we partake to do the configurations? What structure do we have? And then get to the live demo and some next steps of what do we want to get configured within the tool. So real quick, and I'm going to go through these as quick as I can because I want to get to the demo. But we're a third-party logistics company, and basically we're matching customers with carriers and carrying out loads for our customers, moving their merchandise. And we do about 300,000 per year. In addition to that, we have a segment of our business that is project, like large project cargo related. And so we have an engineering department as well that goes out and they design fixtures, they design the layouts of distribution centers, all those types of details. From a company standpoint, you know, our guiding principles, it's really people focused, you know, respecting each other, protecting the well-being of each other and others, and community service. And the bottom three really hit home with us for project management, because driving innovation within the company and transformation, keeping our commitments, and then celebrating the journey. So we're oftentimes confused with the rail, with BNSF Railway, and we are sister companies to BNSF Railway, rolling up to Burlington, north of Santa Fe, and then on to Berkshire Hathaway. We actually support all rail, and so we're not just exclusively helping out the BNSF Rail, we do all rail. We've got around 500 people within the company, 25 offices across North America, and we've been in business now for 20 years. These are the services that we provide. So on the logistics side, we have over the road, less than truckload, rail, and then you can kind of read through the others on the top there. When you start talking about the large project cargo services, it's anything to do with that. We actually own some of our own assets, like cranes and various things that we utilize to carry out the functions for these large hauls, including clearances, figuring out clearances, and insurance, all of those details that go along with that. This is just a slide showing the distribution centers that we have. This is the distribution centers that you see over there to the right. Those are for wind components that we haul, and they're very, very large. It requires an awful lot of communication and planning to actually move something like that across the United States. Okay, so looking at this is our progression. So we started this PMO in 2018, and just to, a lot of companies, and I use this a lot because I need people to understand how long it takes to actually get these things in place from a person standpoint, from the people who are going to execute it and changing behaviors. This company did not have project management. I mean, they had the project cargo work that was going on, but internally in any internal projects, there wasn't any project management, including in IT. So in 2018, we implemented really an IT PMO for the most part. Every department we implemented Agile into. We trained them. We brought in a system. We actually used Team Foundation Server because it had all the code repositories and everything that we needed to run our Agile processes. And then because they saw what we had done, because it has dashboards and different things you can do as well. Because they saw what we had put together there, they wanted the corporate priorities to start being tracked through there. So we built that out. And in 2019, after walking through all of that, they started saying, okay, well, now we want an enterprise PMO. So we took every department in the company, we ran them through, we taught them Agile, we got them on a sprint planning for the ones that are running projects. They're not all running projects the time, but we got them in a very good structure where they were doing planning sessions and groomings and going through all of that. And we put together a project life cycle that everybody, you know, a reduced software development life cycle. We kind of reduced that down into something that was simpler that everyone could follow. In 2020, it was more of the maturing of these processes, and we started to realize that we needed a hybrid approach on some of the efforts that we were working on. And a lot of it was because we weren't leveraging scaled agile and planning out the work as much as we needed to. So it was all a lot of spur of the moment, planning out your sprints and all of that. So we started leveraging some of the waterfall attributes in that methodology and really started to look at these, like whether it's lean or waterfall or agile, these are toolboxes. And rather than just sink into one, we wanted to be able to leverage some of those other options that we have in these methodologies. In last year, we started using an X matrix to develop the corporate priorities and our objectives. We put in a portfolio management process, so we review the corporate priorities and the portfolio once a month with all the owners and stakeholders. And then the stage gates, we started leveraging stage gates, and whether it's agile or waterfall, it kind of falls into a place where we can see how that project's tracking and you know what progress is being made. This year, it's been less about the process and more about building the PMO. So we've added business analysts into our PMO and change management. Change management's been a real challenge for adoption and resistance management and all of the things that go along with that. So we have now hired that into the PMO, and that they're going to help us with the projects, but they'll also help us with the outside, the outside culture and getting us to change our culture where change is concerned. The things I highlighted those because I wanted you to understand that when we get into the demo, we were trying to hit and account for those things. And it kind of stretched across all those years. This is just the structure. And you can see that we've got the project and rail. So we have two PMOs in the company. We've got the project and rail PMO, and then we've got our enterprise PMO. We're in the process of doing demos and getting the rail to embrace Shibumi so that we can get them in there as well and have a complete view of all of the initiatives, all of the work that we have going on within the company. At the enterprise, we've got our departments. Departments have multiple projects. So the way we've set it up is they can go in and run a project. They can run a project for their department and it won't affect our portfolio, the things that have been deemed, this is executive level. We want to pay attention to all of these. It could be like internal projects that they're running. So they have the ability to do that. The corporate priorities tie up into the enterprise. Corporate priorities have multiple objectives, and then the projects tie into the objectives and the programs, the departmental programs. You'll see on the bottom, we where it's features and activities, stories and sub-activities is because the way we've set up our plan, we can run it through Agile or we can run it through Waterfall. We could even say, hey, this section of this project's in an agile process, and this section we want to have it running waterfall. So we've kind of built it out that way. The strategy that we really looked to was that we wanted to be we wanted to be able to serve ourselves. We didn't want to have to be in a queue waiting for changes. We wanted to be able to go and make those changes ourselves, and that's what Shibumi's great at. We have the capability to do anything we want. I think out of everything that we've done, there's only one thing that we're not able to go and modify, and it's our intake form. Shibumi wrote that and has provided it, but outside of that, everything else within the tool, we're capable of changing. We've involved our project managers, myself. We've got another individual who's joined the team who's full-time configuration, and just trying to build the bench strength that we need in order to support this tool in our processes. Your process And then the flexibility to change as we grow is key as well. I mean, as we're still learning a lot, we're still maturing our organization, and we are, what is it, shoe? We're very shoe. We're very shoe. So, and you're going to see it. So let me do this. Okay, so this is our solution that we've developed, and thanks John Doctor and Kim and Geraldo and everyone who's been there with us. Very, very helpful, and it is really caught on. We've got really all of our business owners for these objectives are all in this tool now. So you can see here that we set it up with the enterprise, and then we could have multiple solutions down here at the enterprise level. And I'll start off, I guess, with the intake form. This is our intake form. It's very simple. They answer 3 questions. And what happens out of that, it automatically creates the project in our intake. So all of these are departments. Intake is not a department, but we created it that way so that we had a way to, a front door to the system to be able to create projects. Now, what happens is our project manager will actually go in and triage the project and make sure it's not redundant. There's not, are there extra questions I need to ask? She'll assign resources to it. So if she had come into here, she would get some resources added into the project. And then from there, it goes into a pending status. We have a DOU, that's a document of understanding. It's just a basic document that gives you enough information to make a decision on whether we want to approve the initiative to have further review and be built out. Within here, the product owner or a business analyst will go in, they fill out the DOU. So, we've got our executive summary, problem statement, solution, scope, et cetera. What does success look like? Constraints, any ROI that they're expecting to receive. They fill all this out, and once they feel good about it, they mark it they put it in a submitted status. And let me get up here. And then we go into an intake processing. So anything that's in a submitted status, they pull it up. So all of this used to be manual. We'd do a Word document, and then they would manually go into Azure DevOps and create it. Now it's online. I mean, they pull it up and look at it, and that's pretty much the intake process. When we start looking at projects, one second here, get into this one here. So here's an example of our project, one of our projects. We've got the dashboard, so it's basically giving us the stage, where's it at, the project updates, any high-level information, who's on it, what do we have in terms of RAID, so do we have any risks, how we can track all of that risks, issues, any milestones that we have, and then anything that we're dependent on. As we move, I'm going to skip some of this stuff and hop into the plan here. So the plan is built so that we can create the feature, we can add the stories into it, and then we can build into the tasks. So we have a complete plan in here that from A to Z, we have complete visibility all the way from and I'll show that to you here in a second, all the way from the priority, all the way down to the task. We have complete visibility of everything that's going on within these initiatives. We've got a Gantt chart down here that is similar to what we've been looking at, same functionality. Basically, we track our hours. So if we put it into a sprint, it's automatically putting in the start and end dates. It's and then from there we schedule it into a sprint. Change management. So we took our change management process and we've added it in here so that we can, and this is pretty much the same thing that we'll do on any change that requires change management. We're not saying every project has to have it. We're just saying that we need to identify the ones that do and make sure that we're addressing those, addressing that. So just Coming back here, we got the cost benefit. This is an area we're still working on. This is the out of the box. And we've got, not only do we need to work on it within the tool, but we've got to bring our people along with us as we start bringing this out. Project change requests, we recently added that. So any changes that occur on the project, we're going to document those and make sure that we're aware of what the impact is and what's going on with the project. So because of all the artifacts being in here, we really wanted the project manager to be able to they shouldn't have to see all of that. So we created this, this tab control to reduce it and make it so that they're only looking at what they need to see. So if all they need is their raid log and their plan, that's all they see. And so all of the other stuff that's in there is hidden, basically. That's the project level. Now you roll up and you get into the department. So as we move forward, we want everything that's in the department to roll, or everything that's in the department to roll up to the department level and give the visibility to the benefits, the cost, all of the items, the milestones, all of the things that we need to see at the department level. We want that to roll up. And of course, then it's going to roll up into the enterprise. Here, they can actually create their projects or programs manually if they're not using the intake process. And we actually do our sprint planning at the department level on the business side. So in this space, and we're still working on this as well, but in this space, basically we come in and we say for this sprint, here's the individuals who are in there, here's the capacity that they have over the next 2 weeks, and then we apply anything that they've been assigned to that sprint and have their hours in there, and that'll give us the capacity of where do they stand for that given sprint. All right, rolling up now to the enterprise view. This is the portfolio report. And so we use this to actually do the prioritization because the actual meeting that we have is in a PowerPoint, in a Shibumi PowerPoint or presentation. And so what we'll do in there is we're reviewing anything that's new that has come in, get those approvals. We review any where we're at in the stage gate process, and then the top 10 projects, we'll do a deep dive on those and walk through them. And then we come into the portfolio and actually have a discussion about the priority and make sure that it's still right. In the future, we're going to leverage all the things that we've been talking about. We're not there yet. So being able to look at our investments and our initiatives and have that insight, we don't have it yet. We don't have the data in there. This is our corporate priority review. So we had 2 meetings because of how this has been streamlined. We've actually merged those into one meeting where we review the corporate priorities, and some of that ties into the portfolio and vice versa. So we've merged those. Our business owners actually come in and provide the updates on these objectives. And then our project managers give the updates on the priorities. So this is just a quick dashboard that we've got together right now, and we're going to continue to work on this as well. But just tells us where are the time, the targets, where are they landing throughout the year, what's at risk, late, on hold, where do you see what state are they in? And then where do they stand in terms of the category, whether it's growth, productivity, people, and any other categories that we choose to put in there. Bouncing over to the corporate priorities. This is our corporate priority review. So we enter all of our priorities down here. A priority has multiple objectives. So if I come into engagement and DEIB, when I go into here, it's actually got the projects tied to it. So we can get to all of it. We can bounce all the way back. It provides complete visibility to everything in there. I think I have covered everything there in the demo. So let me bounce back real quick to the presentation. Okay. And so really now what we're looking for is continuing to increase the usage. We've been adding people in there every week, developing some training materials to help people along where needed. All the financial details, benefits, costs, getting those in there. Dashboards, we still have dashboards to work on for my work as someone who is in there and has been assigned, whether it's a RAID log item, a task, whatever it is, they'll have complete visibility to everything they have. One place they have to go, they can see everything they have. They can see what they have assigned in their sprint right from that window. We're going to add a couple modules in there for release management and UAT tracking. We're not doing that in DevOps. Our business analysts run that actually today through Monday.com, but we want it all in Shibumi so that we can tie it to our investments and see everything that's going on. And then an integration with a DevOps and then our project and rail solution. I think that's it. Any questions?
For other integrations, like for TFS or all the other?
What we're trying to do is eliminate those.
Oh, okay.
So like TFS is outdated anyway. Yeah. The upgrade is DevOps. And Monday.com, we've got 8 project management systems that have come in through different avenues. And we'd really like a tool that we can consolidate and have, we've got everything we need and all the visibility in one place. We won't ever get rid of DevOps. We're not going to, that's a development tool, and so we can't get rid of that one. But the rest of them, our intention is to actually get rid of it. The integrations we want to do, though, is where you started talking about the benefit and where does the benefit come from. And we want to be able to, like if we want to increase our load volume, we want to be able to pull that in and show that we're increasing the load volume, or actually maybe it's decreased, right? So those are more the integrations that we would be interested in pursuing.
Can we see how do you have the waterfall and the agile initiative separate? Or how do you assign an initiative if it's waterfall or if it's agile?
We started by separating them.
Oh, great.
And this has been an iterative process because it wasn't easy to think about it. But we started by separating, and the closer we got, the more we realized that you can have them in one place. You really can. It depends. We're not separating them in the tool. But functionally, the way we're working it functionally is, say if you're in a department and a department is running agile, well, then the department can go into their planning sessions. They can set the sprints. It'll apply it, and we can do their capacity. We can plan out their work that way. Say if it's a project manager who has taken on a large project and they need to have other visibilities that they're not getting through our agile process today, they can build the whole plan out. And if they apply a sprint, it puts a start date and an end date, which is pretty much what you're getting if you just set the start date and end date. So it's actually applying the dates for you and enabling us to just see it as one plan. So we're not separating them right now.
Can you describe what your kind of enablement process was and learning how to use Shibumi and configure it yourself, or how far along in that process you are and all that? Yeah,
so it's we started out by meeting twice a week, once a week, and just learning all of the configuration with John and Kim, and as we've gone forward, it's been more of really digging in. So we started out with the startup guide. I'm sure we'd never seen the tool, so to me, it's been a great experience because we started in February. And we had all the project work done, and we entered our projects in May. And all of our project managers were using it in May. And then in July, we started running the portfolio management process through there. And then in August, we started running the corporate priorities through there. But that journey has been actually having to get in and do it. And all of us have gotten in and done it to a certain capacity of what we could do. That's really for us what the journey's been. You have to get in and do it. We can't read books and figure, and just learn that way necessarily. You have to get in and actually execute in it.
Or just the organization that you have actually managing Shibumi and the inputs.
So right now it's me, 2 project managers, 2 business analysts, and a change manager, and 1 configuration individual.
Doing it full time.
No, not full time. And that's why, I'm always like wanting to be much further down the road. I would love to, I feel like we're pretty far, but I would like to be a lot further. And I think we all have jobs. So we're in there developing the strategy, building all these things out, running projects, building the PMO and hiring in, a change manager and all the other things that have been going on in addition to configuring the system. But that's the size of our organization that's in there right now.
How was the process of bringing the business owners and project managers into the tool? How was that journey?
It's been good. We've handled it one-on-one. So everyone who's in there right now, they know how to get in. They know how to save their favorites. They know how to get to their corporate priorities. But what we do is we actually just set it, and it's not that long. It's a half an hour meeting. It is a very quick tool to learn. It makes sense, right? And so we just sit down with them. I get them to basically save a favorite. And in the future, it's going to be on the internet. So we still have to add a link there for intake and for the tool itself. But we just have them save it as a favorite in their browser. It's right there. You can't get away from it. You go into their favorite browser, there's the button, and it's single sign-on. So now all they need to know is, well, how do I get to my favorites, and how do I get into the corporate objectives. That's for the ones who are doing corporate objectives. We still have people that we're bringing on at the department level who aren't in there yet, and they'll probably need a little bit more attention because they'll actually be executing projects and building out more work than what our business owners are doing for the corporate objectives.
The user stories, pretty much, do you create them directly on the system, or do you integrate with Jira or?
Well, we're creating them. So if we're in for all IT work, it's all created in Azure DevOps. All stories, tasks, and features, epics, all of that. For the departments and the business areas that are in it, we're creating them directly in here. Thank you.